What is a child? A child is not a punching bag. A child is not cheap labor. A child is not a rag doll. A child is not a sponge. A child is not a house pet. A child is not cash. A child is not a sex toy. A child is not a slave. Yet this is how children are being treated every day, all over the world. This is their story.
Oh, Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? Cinnamon, where you gonna run to?
What is violence?
Where you gonna run to? All on that day, will I run
What is
to
a
the
child?
rock? Please hide me and run to the rock. Please hide
And
me
why
and
should
run
these
to the
two
rock.
words never meet in the same
Please hide
sentence?
me, Lord. All on that
Every
day,
child has a right to be protected from any form of violence, anywhere and at all times. Rights that are theirs regardless of age, color, gender, religion, or race. Rights that are theirs by law. We need to respect, protect, and give every child their rights. But violence against children persists. Where is it happening? Many people ask. The real question is, where isn't it happening? Everywhere they are, children suffer violence. More often than not, in places where they least expect it, and from people whom they would never suspect. Home should be the one place in the world a child feels cared for and protected, where they can live in an atmosphere of a nurturing family life. This is their right. Yet for many children, home is a place of pain. Newborns to young adults, boys and girls, whether healthy or disabled, rich or poor, suffer unceasing physical and emotional violence, often disguised as discipline, affection, and even love. And what happens at home often stays at home. Only 16 countries in the world have laws that ban physical punishment of children at home. Those who inflict violence, parents, step-parents, foster parents, siblings, grandparents, and yayas, are driven by ignorance, revenge, and a multitude of other reasons. But home need not be a place of pain, given proper information and support. For most children, school is their second home. Safety and proper education are their rights. Yet for many, it is an education in violence. All over the world, teachers humiliate, insult, and beat boys and girls over unsatisfactory schoolwork. Bullies intimidate them, call them names, and attack them after class. Many girls are sexually harassed and even raped by their male teachers and classmates. And with 106 countries in the world that have yet to ban physical punishment in schools, is survival all they have to hope for? Teachers must be taught. Codes of conduct must be written and implemented. Children must be told of their rights. Schools cannot let this lesson in violence go on. Even places of refuge like orphanages and children's homes provide no shelter for children. Some escape one prison only to enter another one. Staff members discipline them with beatings, isolation, and insults. The disabled are neglected. The mentally ill are electrocuted. It is only worse for children who break the law. Despite their right against harsh sentences, boys are often imprisoned with hardened criminals who are only too eager to beat and sexually abuse them. Jail wardens can even be more cruel, ignoring and isolating them and beating them themselves. And once they have been labeled criminals, they soon begin behaving like criminals, passing their pain onto others. The punishment must stop before we breed a new generation of criminals. They should never learn to make the same mistake twice. As much as possible, no child should ever be sent into any institution for any reason. Petty offenses should no longer be considered crimes. Detained children should have their own center within prisons to protect them from abuse, and return to their families as soon as possible. Children should be allowed to be children. They should never have to enter any kind of work. However, sometimes poverty forces children to grow up fast. But many are not only forced to work, they are forced into jobs and working conditions even the toughest of adults would not survive. Despite rights protecting them from dangerous work, many children are forced into trades like hard labor, commercial plantations, deep-sea fishing, firecracker making, prostitution, and pornography. While others work long hours at factories, mines, streets, and markets. And every day they suffer beatings, harassment, and insults from their employers and co-workers, and are deprived of their right to education. Just because a child has to work like a dog doesn't mean he can be treated like one. Changes have to be made. We must put an end to all child labor. When we force a child to do a man's job, we don't just take away their rights. We take away their childhood. A neighborhood, a gang of friends, a playground, a basketball court, a church group. Communities are practically any place where children can meet all kinds of people from all walks of life. Yet for many children, meeting more kinds of people means meeting more kinds of violence. They are called names, beaten, and sexually harassed by other children. Their boyfriends or girlfriends hit and slap them and force them into sex. Gangs pressure them into taking drugs and alcohol. Drug syndicates use them as drug couriers. And many street children are kidnapped and sold into prostitution and sexual tourism, while others just disappear. Children should never be afraid to come out and play. They should be free from any kind of harm wherever they go. How can we protect them? How can we end violence against children? How do we turn it all around? The answer no longer lies in condemning violence against children, but in empowering children against violence. Children Against Violence is our nation's reply not just to the UN's recommendations, but to every child's call to end the violence. This is not an appeal to pity. This is children speaking up for themselves. Refusing to remain victims. Standing up against violence. And letting go of their fears.